to keep up with that. That's not the kind of knowledge I need. That's the mouth of fools feeding on foolishness. You know what people are all excited? You know what Americans are all talking about right now? These stinking political, what do you call them? Primaries. They go to different states. Who is McCain going to beat? I almost said Dole. I don't know. Who's he going against? Bradley and Bush and Gore and all those. And these guys are getting excited about it. That same guy in the spa the other day says, "Well, what do you think about all this apathy with people that don't vote?" And I was putting my socks on, I almost fell off the bench. I mean, I didn't tell him I'd never vote. I don't bother. I mean, I think you should vote. What about all this apathy? I laughed out loud. He said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Are you kidding me? I mean, you could get excited over getting Bush over McCain, or McCain over Bush, or Bradley over Gore, or Gore over Bradley, or any of them over any of them? How could you get excited about that?" Do you know, I mean, I said, listen, I am right-wing conservative. Do you know who one of the best right-wing conservative presidents has been lately? Everyone, what do you think of when you think of a right-wing conservative president? Reagan. Do you know what Reagan said? We need to come together as one world, and a national currency will not do. We need a world currency. Only a world currency will work. Oh, let's get the conservative in there. Let's vote them in. Let's get excited about them. Do you know what government's about? Stealing your money. Americans are so stupid about government. Apathy, it's a joke. Go cast your vote for who? What are they going to do? That Congress is busy trying to find ways to steal billions of dollars to spend it before they even get it, to pay the interest on something they can't even pay the principal on. Anything the government touches, they screw up. There are more federal banking regulators than there are bankers. Isn't that great? Back in the 70s, Penn Central went bankrupt. You know what happened? The government took it over. You know what's happened since the government took it over? It became Amtrak and Conrail. You know what happened? They put $21 billion into it. Could you run a railroad with $1 billion a year? Not counting what you're charging your ticket sales. The government has pumped in $21 billion, and that's how good the government is at running things. I see these ads for the post office. They're spending money to advertise the post office. That's a government agency that's losing money. And they're spending money to advertise that they're losing money. Do you need an advertisement to use the post office? Are you going to use the post office instead of UPS? You're crazy. You're nuts. And you're going to get excited about Dole or Gore or whatever his name is? I can't wait to cast my vote, get the right man in. Now, I hate to burst your bubble, but that's what goes on. You know what happened after that thing? Amtrak is still going and still going down. It's still just completely bankrupt and spending billions and losing billions and still doing it. Conrail was taken over. They got rid of that and went private, and it's been making money ever since. That's government for you. What do you think about the apathy of the voters? I'm surprised they can get 51% of the people to vote. I'm surprised they can get that many. Do they get that many? They don't get. What's the percentage of people that vote that are supposed to? What is it? 40? In the 40s? I'm surprised they get that many. Now, I'm not telling you not to vote. It's your right. I mean, exercise your right, but don't get me excited about putting any of those clowns over the other one. I could go on and on about the things Reagan did, and we talk about Clinton. I don't care who. Let me tell you something. I'll just wrap it up with this. The government is not failing. Okay? Now this is profound. You need to get this. The government is not failing. Their job is to do just what they're doing. They're not trying to do something right and failing at it, you understand? They set up a system called the Federal Reserve that's intended, I almost told you the truth there, it's intended to, help me to say this right, to screw you. The Federal Reserve is intended for that reason. That's what it's put together for. All right? They're not failing. They're doing a great job at it. They're doing it exactly right. So that thing, they look at it and they say, we need to pump more money. And where's the money come from? They just print it. We need to pump more money into the economy. Some idiot stood up one time and talking about some, I don't know, was Chrysler going out of business or something, and this idiot stood up, and this supposedly took place on a television show, on a talk show or something, and he stood up and said, why should the taxpayer pay for it? Why don't we let the government pay for it? And people clapped. Now, what do you think about the apathy of the voters? The government has no money. You give your money to the government, and before you give it to them, they've spent it. And they're doing a great job at what they're meant to do. Steal money and spend it before they get it. Now, I forget the figures, but the figures are so bad now that about, if you take 80, I think it's 80% of all the gross national product will just pay the interest on what we owe in the federal deficit. Won't touch the principal. Now, you going to put a president that's going to do anything about that? Show me a guy that's going to do something about that, and I'll vote for him. Show me a guy that's going to go in there and say, okay, my first move is we're going to get rid of the Federal Reserve. That guy couldn't even stand up and say that. He'd be killed. What, Rush Limbaugh, there's no conspiracy. You idiot. Go make your millions. Go listen to Rush, and Rush is right. Unbelievable. What do I think of the apathy of the American voter? What do I think about the ignorance of the American voter that really thinks if we get a Republican president, we're going to get something? I don't care if you got a Republican Congress and a Republican president and a Republican right-wing everything. The whole system is designed to screw you and to destroy this country. I wonder why. This book said it would happen. So get excited about who you're going to put in. Now go to your New Hampshire primary and get excited who won. I'll tell you, I was more interested in whether the groundhog saw his shadow. All right, we'll close there.